Hi there and welcome to YogaPad and welcome to our little chat for the month. So this month it's all about me. Now a few people have actually asked what's my journey with yoga and how do I fit it into my life. It's quite a busy life with kids and work and all sorts of things. So I just thought I'd take this opportunity to just share my lovely little journey with yoga. So I started yoga when I was about 25. At the time I used to go to the gym and do boxing circuit classes and things like that, which was really fun. But my favourite part of the class was actually stretching at the end, and I just really loved the feeling of stretching and easing out all the muscles, and that sort of sense of quiet and a little bit of a chance to breathe a bit more slowly. So I really enjoyed that. And at one point after the boxing class, a yoga teacher started a class at the gym, which I did a couple of times, and I really liked it. And I can't even remember what we did, but for some reason it really touched me and I just really loved it. I was living in Sydney at the time, and I was lucky to live around the eastern suburbs in the Bondi area where there's quite a lot of yoga, and I was introduced to an Ashtanga yoga school in Paddington, and I thought I'd give it a go. So I did, and I went along at 5:30 in the morning because I just could get up that early. And so I was just blown away. Suddenly I found this whole new world opened up to me, and before I knew it I was getting up at 5:30 pretty much 5 mornings a week before work and going and doing an Ashtanga practice. Little by little, when you start the Ashtanga practice, you just start, maybe you do 20 minutes of practice, the first few sun salutes, and little by little you add on the various postures as the sequence unfolds. And I really loved it, and I just used to feel I'd go to work and then feel like, wow, I've done this whole thing already for myself, and I feel so great. And it was always this thing I look forward to for the next day. So that was my introduction. I was pretty disciplined, but I didn't have to force myself. I just loved it actually. And so life toddles along, and suddenly, pregnant. So I was like, okay. So I continued practicing yoga while I was pregnant with my first boy, and I felt fine. I just, little by little, obviously there's things you just can't do, like you can't fold yourself flat on your legs anymore because you've got a big baby bump in the way, but it was really good. It was a nice experience just finding out, okay, well, when is it now no longer appropriate to do certain things? But overall, I felt pretty good, very fit and very strong. So giving birth was, it actually hurt like hell, but I felt very strong within that process, and I do attribute that to, at that point, I'd been practicing yoga for several years, and I feel like that just gave me the strength and inner strength that I didn't really even know why I had that for birthing, but I found the birthing process quite powerful, and I could do it without the big drama, which was great. So anyway, baby, of course, anyone here who has children and babies knows that suddenly your life is a little turned upside down, and when on earth do you get time for yourself and all of that stuff. So yeah, so little by little I started to weave yoga back into my life. It was very hard to get to a class. I think I could manage to go once a week, and it was like, oh, wow, I'm going to a yoga class, how exciting. But I pretty much supplemented that during the week with my own practice at home when I could. So at the time I was still practicing Ashtanga. It's actually about an hour and a half to 2 hour practice. When does a new mother have that chunk of time? Well, not many mothers do. So I just started doing what I could when I could. So if that meant 2 sun salutes, so be it. I just had to learn very quickly, get what you can when you can. So anyway, I repeated that process a few times and suddenly found myself with 4 boys, all of them 2 years apart. And so, of course, those 2 hour chunks of time completely disappeared. But I still just took on that principle of meet the kids' needs first, get them all sorted out, and then just always block in a little section of time after they've gone to bed that's my time. I remember when after my third little boy was born, I got quite fixed on, I'm going to do my yoga practice no matter what. And I used to plan my whole day and be really organised and get the kids all sorted out. And 8 o'clock at night would come, okay, I'm ready. And I'd get on my mat and go, oh my God, I'm so buggered. And I really couldn't do anything because I was so tired. So this was a start of a new journey for me, really. And that was really about checking in with, well, what do I actually need right now? Because I was tired. And I'd, at that time, 3 kids and breastfeeding and birthing and all of that stuff that goes with it. So I remember I used to just get a little bit frustrated at first, thinking, here I am, here's my time, and now I'm too tired. So what I would do is lie down and just think to myself, well, what do I need? And often what would come is some really deep breathing. So anyone who knows the frustrations that can arise with little children, deep breathing just became like somebody stroking me, and it's like just soothing myself. And then from that deep breathing, maybe I'd pull one knee into my chest and just feel a nice leg stretch, and then the other leg, and maybe then a twist, maybe a twist to the other side. And then little by little I'd start to wake up, and then I could start moving through a beautiful flowing practice. And I remember at the time thinking, I'm not even going to plan what I'm going to do. I'm just going to go with what my body and my feeling is. So that's how I really started to tune into my own practice. I think that's been a very healthy thing for me. Certainly I love the Ashtanga practice, but one of the things I find, it's because it's the same sequence all the time. In a way, if you don't do it all, you think you haven't done it. So this was a nice way to just go, okay, I can do 10 minutes of whatever, and I've still actually done a yoga practice. So I think another significant point for me was in 2008, 2009, our family spent a year in Los Angeles, and that was a whole other new world that opened up. The yoga over there was amazing, and I went to yoga 4 or 5 times a week, and I honestly think there's not a class that I didn't love and come away from feeling, wow, I just learned so much new stuff. And so I've been able to also integrate that little by little into my practice. So that's, I guess, the scope of the journey. And so now my boys are a little older. The youngest just turned 8, the oldest is 14. Yes, they still take a lot of my time. However, the demands of the little children are no longer there, just sort of demands of bigger children. But the reality is I can chunk off time a little more easily now. That's another lesson in life is, nothing lasts forever. So the frustrations that you have with little children, that all passes. And suddenly, you've got a bit more time to yourself. And so my natural time of the day is the morning time. I am awake in the morning. I love the mornings. I still don't get to do my practice in the morning because one of my kids still gets up at 5 o'clock and I still don't have that sort of pure peace. So I still practice at night, even though that's not my preferred time. That's just how I manage to slot it in. But I can certainly see that in a few more years, then I might get back to my 5:30 in the morning thing. Or maybe not, maybe I'll just sleep in, who knows. So that's my journey. I'd love to hear if you've got any other questions, or if you think there's any advice that you would like around how on earth do you fit in a yoga practice around a busy life, then I'd be really, really happy to help. Thank you so much.